Let's go over to Don in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Welcome to the Line of Fire.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for taking my question.
Sure.
Yeah, I have a question about critical race theory and how it sort of ties into what your topic is with Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Whoopi Goldberg was suspended a few weeks ago from her show, The View, because she made some comments that some deemed were offensive to the Jewish race. And what she was basically saying, I think, what she was basically saying was that Jews, and I think you agree that Jews are white people. I think I've heard you say this before, that you are a white man.
Yeah, Jews are all colors. They're black Jews, white Jews, other Jews, red Jews, right?
But in the common parlance, Jews are white. I would think you would agree. But
well, no,
anyway,
no, absolutely not. It depends where you live in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I will agree with you on that. But anyway, she was suspended. She apologized and she was suspended. But my real question is critical race theory. I think that you are against critical race theory being taught in school.
No, it's all how it's applied. It's all how it's applied. In other words, different people mean different things by it. So it's all how it's. I am absolutely for a rigorous, honest teaching of American history, the good and the bad, with the blemishes, with the ugly things, right up to recent decades. 100% for it. I'm 100% against telling one group you are the oppressor race, or you have the victims and the victimizers. So it's all how it's taught, sir.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but would you? I know Anna Navarro on The View. She said that the Holocaust should be taught in every school. So how do you square that when we know that little German kids of German descent might feel bad about themselves and what happened to and what their ancestors may have done during the Holocaust.
Fine to feel bad about what your ancestors did. That's fine. But you shouldn't be made to feel guilty yourself as if you were part of that, or as if you, because you are a German, are genetically and inherently evil or an oppressor group. Yeah, by all means, when you find out about the history. I have friends that spend a lot of their time educating German Christians and the German people about. I even wrote a foreword for a book in German about this because the next generation just didn't want to talk about it. It's like, no, we have to bring this up to light. Grandpa was a Nazi. You have to talk about it. Yeah.
So you're saying that they should feel bad about what their ancestors did?
Well, if I heard about American, look, I feel bad when I learn things about my history that I didn't know. Here, I'm not a Southern Baptist. I have no formal, I'm a Pentecostal charismatic.
Right. I understand.
But it's embarrassing to me to learn that the Southern Baptists began as a denomination because they wanted to keep their slaves. So they broke away from the Northern Baptists. Those are people that are good people today. That's embarrassing to me to hear. And if I was a Southern Baptist and I learned it, I'd feel bad. I wouldn't feel personally responsible, but I'd feel bad to learn it.
That's what I'm saying. So then you're saying it's okay then for little white kids to feel bad about what their ancestors did to African Americans and how the chattel slavery and the Jim Crow.
Sure.
And just the de facto slavery.
As long as they're not made to feel bad. So, sir.
Good, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. When you hear, look, I teach on anti-Semitism in church history. And when people learn about it, they come up to me weeping. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. And they hug me and they're crying. It's like, okay, well, you didn't do, they feel terrible because it's so contrary to who they are. They feel terrible. So there's a way to, would you agree, sir, that there's a way to teach it where the kids understand, okay, you didn't do this. And maybe your great grandfather died fighting against slavery. But if you just say, wow, it's terrible that people that I'm part of, white Americans here, look, my mother comes over from England, basically as an orphan, as a virtual orphan, as a little girl. Okay. My grandparents on my father's side come over from Russia, beginning of the last century, or end of the one before that. So we have zero connection to the African slave trade. We don't, we come from another place after. But as I learned more about it over the years, I've studied more, understood more, the horrors of Middle Passage. I feel terrible about it, because that was other people. And here's my connection: other people who were Christians who participated in that, right? But I feel no personal guilt. I feel no white guilt. None of that. Yeah. So it's how it's taught. But yeah, and then just be redemptive.
My story.
Yeah.
My story. My ancestors came from my great grandfather was born in slavery. He was born in slavery in Virginia, and he was sold from his family down to South Carolina. That's why my family is in South Carolina today. But he never saw his mother and father and sisters and things again. So that should be told, and there should be some shame about something like that happening, because we can't go back. I don't even know who my ancestors are. My relatives are in Virginia. Because
incredible.
Something like that. Can you imagine something like that happening? Because you just told me your ancestors came from Russia. I'm sure you know exactly where they came from in Russia and England.
No, we lost. I don't even know what my original last. I'm a little exception there. We don't know what my original last name was. It wasn't Brown, but it got shortened. But my history is not yours. Let's not compare it. That.
Right. I understand. But these things should be taught in school, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why do I see so many evangelicals against these?
Yeah. So Don,
Republicans against this.
Let me try to help here. Both sides are like ships passing in the night. Okay. That's why I said it depends. I get a lot of flack because I say it depends what you mean by CRT, because to some people it's just evil, and to others it's just a good academic approach. So let me just say this, then I got to run. But thank you for the call, and it gives us a context. Share about your great grandfather. That's right. That's pretty recent. But this is the issue. The evangelicals that I know, associate, work with, absolutely want this taught. Hey, how many Americans know that Japanese Americans were interned during World War II? They weren't in concentration camps like the Jews. They weren't being slaughtered. But this, I never learned that growing up, right? And I'm sure I didn't learn all the facts or the right story about our treatment of Native Americans. I just heard how dangerous and bad they were, and we had to kill some of them. That's all I remember learning, right? So you learn more, and it's like, because I'm an American, right? It's an amazing country, a great country. I'm thrilled that I'm here. It's like, oh, yikes. I didn't know we did. So it's we in terms of, our founders or our ancestors or others. And then there's a lot of good stuff. So the evangelicals I know, they don't want their kids being separated based on race in school. They don't want their kids to have white guilt, as if there's something inherently wrong with being white, or as if they themselves are guilty of some of the past atrocities, but they want the history taught. They want the story of your ancestry taught. They want that taught. It's the other stuff they don't. And then each side tends to react against the other. That's why I've tried to have conversations about it. But when you learn, it's like, I just want to hear good things about my country's history. No, there's bad stuff. It's a mixture because we're human beings. Look at the biblical telling of Israel's history. It's mainly negative, very negative. So that's what happens. So let's teach the good, the wonderful, the great. Let's teach the bad, the ugly, the terrible. And then let's say, okay, here's how we keep moving forward together, and then leave the kids with hope. Thank you for the call, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click on one of the boxes on the screen, check out another one of our videos, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. We discovered that about 60% of you that are watching our videos aren't subscribers. So subscribe today. Doesn't cost you a dime. And if you want to support our work, Line of Fire, and all the things that we do, follow one of the links on the screen below.